Hey, it's Empress Rose here, and welcome to our collective reading. We're going to start off with the Dreamscape Oracle, see what happens, see what we get. They're general readings, take what works, leave what doesn't, as always. All right. That's a lot, but that's not too much. I don't have many decks here today, so that's really interesting. Okay, this sort of looks like some sort of, doesn't look very relationship-y. So some sort of work or project or something. And I say that because we have fawn here. And fawn is about the beginning of something, a shaky beginning. Maybe it is a relationship, I don't know. But we'll see what the other cards say. But the fawn is typically, like in this deck, the interpretation is about money. The interpretation is about work projects, basically. So a shaky beginning, just starting out on something, not quite sure. Thinking of a fawn, just learning how to walk and all of that. Uncertainty and the need to kind of get things up and running right away, not a long, development period like human babies have, but needing to be sufficient quickly. There's also a sense of something being hidden, perhaps like a hidden opportunity, a hidden skill. I'm just thinking about the fawn hiding. I'm seeing the fawn hiding in some grass while the mom goes out and does something. So something maybe an emerging opportunity that maybe you hadn't seen before or really understood before. I'm seeing the gate too. This also has a sense of emergence, of an opening, an opportunity opening up to step through that opening, the gate. Something opens up, something into a different reality. I don't necessarily see that as like a different reality, but like a new thing, a new way of being, a new way of doing, a new job, a new way of doing some kind of work, a new position, something like that. Something opening up where possibility starts to emerge, and there's a possibility of stepping through into a new situation, a new beginning. So both of those, the fawn and then the gate, an opening. So take your opening when you see it, would be, there's something, an opportunity, a new opportunity might be opening up here. We have koi fish. So this also is about work. So see what I mean? Like these three cards, at least these three are about sort of working, and the koi fish is about work. It's about putting in, it's not necessarily about your job, but it's about something that you've worked a lot towards, a goal, some kind of goal that you've worked towards. So the koi fish talks about this, the legend is it goes upstream like a salmon, and at the end of that, it becomes a dragon. So a lot of hard work, being maybe in the midst of, not hard work, but being in the midst of, you're not going with the flow, you're not just taking it easy and kicking your feet up, you're moving upstream towards something. So, and it shouldn't feel like hard work. It should feel like, if you've watched this channel for long enough, I'm not a fan of hard work. It should feel like a calling that's pulling you. So in a way, the headwind might feel natural and normal, because this is calling you forward. And if it weren't for this thing calling you forward, or this ambition calling you forward, you would just be going that way, a different direction. So it is something that does take effort, at least, or some kind of drive to overcome the inertia, the flow, that kind of thing. So moving towards something that you've already put a lot of work in, that looks to be very rewarding at the end, but putting that work in is seeing an opening in something, in some sort of new endeavor, and putting effort towards the end result. We also, now this one is, that all felt like this sort of set of three cards coming out there talking about working towards something, a new endeavor, and opening up in something that you've been working towards. Then these ones I'm not, these ones feel a little different energy here. The silence. So maybe something you can't talk about, something that you haven't been able to talk about. Maybe this is an opportunity you can't talk about or you haven't been able to talk about. It's so funny because I see this card and it just sort of stops, like I'm feeling the silence. It sort of stops the chatter in my mind, stops all the connections. Like these three came out and we were firing all over up here. And then this one, I saw it and I just wanted to delay it because it's just stopping the flow. So something that either you can't talk about, you haven't known about, there might be something that you don't know about. There's so much flow and opening and progress, progression in these first three cards that this is really interesting. There's just this, maybe you're not hearing back from somebody. There might be communication issues going on. There could be a ghosting. There could be just like a blank wall where something had a lot of flow. And maybe this is flowing around the silence too. So I'm not necessarily saying that this is stopping everything that's going on. I'm just saying that it's creating an obstacle to full flow. Something maybe that you've been quiet about. I'm not saying you shouldn't be quiet about that. We'll see that in the tarot cards, but... And then we have White Buffalo here, White Buffalo woman. This talks about a peace offering. This talks about creating unity. So where the silence, the White Buffalo comes in, and this is communication, this is insight. This can also talk about ceremonies, discernment is often what comes in with White Buffalo, because White Buffalo woman, you know, approaching two people, and one of them is responding in a usury way, in a usy way, and the other one's wanting to uplift and extend, and one's wanting something to be from her, right? So discernment, peace offering. The silence card's kind of throwing me, so it's kind of what's going unsaid, what's been unsaid, and then a peace offering. So maybe something was flowing, something's gone unsaid. Something is being done in silence. All right, and then from the Dreamweaver's Oracle, we got these three. Oh, I just posted this in a short, and it's from a couple weeks ago. What the winter spirits know, and here we are, at least in my hemisphere, where I'm at, deep in winter. Dreaming, visioning, a time of rest. We're not out gardening. We're not out digging up frozen dirt right now, at least not in my... That's not what this card's about. This card's about maybe planting the garden, dreaming and making plans. Maybe you're planning for a new opportunity too here. There's a period of silence, a period of rest. And in that rest, life germinates, in that darkness, in that rest. It's reminding me of that sort of cliche, you know, the seed thought it had been buried, but really had been planted. There's a waiting for a resurrection vibe. But yeah, you don't know, you know, right in that moment if this is a pause or an ending. It's really funny because I've been like sort of, you know, the idea that, you know, solstice was such a big deal because it was dark and we didn't know if the sun was coming back, and like, how is that possible? How can you be on this planet? Like, even animals know the sun is coming back. Is it pleasant when it's that dark? No, it's not. But everybody knows the sun's coming back. But then there's also this sense of in our own lives, we don't know, even though, you know, our lives have these cycles and things go through, but oftentimes it's not as certain as the sun coming back. It's going into some sort of darkness, some sort of dead space, some sort of silence. It's going, oh, this looks like a piece. Some sort of going into some sort of silence or some sort of dead space, maybe even within a relationship or within a work situation or within some kind of situation, and not honoring the fact that we know that these cycles happen. So there's a lot of fear about, is this over? Or is this coming back? You know? And sometimes things are really over. They should be, they have to be. But this silence is this rest time in which ideas, this is what this means to me, like the silence and what the winter spirits know, this silent time, this silent, I'm going to say silent night, the silent night, and this pause, it's a pregnant pause. It's a pause of potential. And so some things maybe been put on pause. But the potential's still there. And there's a cyclical nature at work here. And so it's not something you're forgetting or moving on from. It's part of the cycle, is that there's a pause that happens. There's a slowdown. There's like, you know, like when you get sick and you're like, oh my gosh, this is miserable. And all you can see is like the days in front of you and achiness and not feeling well. And then there's, but you get better most of the time until you don't. But that's the natural way of things, is that there's a cycle, and you will get better and you'll heal and you'll come back to things. So maybe there's a pause and there's some silence here. I'm just wanting to check my own mic here with the silence card coming up. Only the weavers know the time. So divine timing at work, you can't figure it out. Don't even try. When is this going to start flowing, perhaps? When is the opening? When does the door open? When does the silence end? You don't know. Divine timing's at work here. When does the opportunity come? And when do things start flowing again? You don't know. It is a cycle, but there is some mystery. It's not like, you know, our winter solstice that we're setting into, where there's like a regularity and so I'm getting, it is a cycle, but it's not a predictable cycle. It's an irregular cycle. It's going on here. And then we have when the weavers built the sun. So the dream's big, the dream's enormous. If it's a big dream, it's going to have cycles of moving forward and cycles of rest. It's not going to be able to go in a steady pattern up. It's going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. So the building the sun, a huge project. It's going to ebb and flow. It's not going to be a steady march forward. It's got some ebb and flow. It's got some openings, some closings, some silent times, some dead space, some silent times, and then some flow, and then openings, and then so this, when the weavers built the sun, to me is like completing one step of a much larger mission, of a much larger task. So completing one step, and realizing that your dream is big, or should be big, or is big. If you have a big dream, and I hope that you do, it's just going to happen bit by bit by bit. It's not going to be a sudden, well, for some people it is a sudden opening, but we're talking about something that one part of the dream slides into place. It's divine timing. Right now is the time. Something may open up after a period of silence, and it's meant to happen at this time. It's not meant to happen before. It's meant to happen at this time, and it's part of a larger situation and a larger thing happening. All right, let's move on to the tarot. And I have the good tarot here. This deck, I mean, not to talk crap about a deck, but it's just not I don't resonate with it. But today it literally just was like, this is the only deck. So I'm curious about that. There's a couple cards in here that are really unique to this deck. So I'm very curious as to why this deck was so insistent that this was the only deck I was going to be touching here. So from the bottom of the deck, 3 of water, party, friendships, gatherings. So maybe, yeah, party, friendships, gatherings. People that have been through like difficulty, there's these pearls here that always remind me of the journey of the pearl, right? That initial difficulty, that initial irritation and difficulty really becoming over time and through a natural healing process. Just such a beautiful, precious gem. And so that's something that can happen to us if we apply the right, if we're trying to heal it, if we're trying to heal the irritation and the difficulties. We can really build, I want to say there's a Venus energy, there's obviously with pearls, but there's like this difficulty, and then with a commitment to healing, how beautiful that can become. And there's something about some sort of party, gathering, friendships where there's been difficulty, but it's becoming beautiful, and it's starting to emerge in a very I want to say precious way. All right, past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. This is really interesting, because we start off with the World card, which is the ending, something being over, not like partially over, not, I mean, maybe it's part of a cycle, but if it's part of a cycle, it's part of an internal cycle, not an external cycle. There's a completion. Didn't we get the World card recently in some other reading? Anyway, there's a completion. This is reminding me of New Year's also, like, right, the Julian calendar and the new year and the end of the old year, out with the old, in with the new. The year is completed. The year is ended. I swear we got this in our last reading too, the World card. There's completion. And I think we got Three of Water too, like, or Three of Cups. Like, this party or this celebration is the backdrop. And then there's this completion also, like completing a year. Maybe it's a birthday party. Maybe it's the end of the year party. But this is in the past. Something ended, completed. I want to say it's locked away. It was done and it's over. And it's sort of like, we don't need that anymore. Locked away. It's the last card in the major arcana. And it talks about completion, endings, completing a cycle, which we were talking about before. Completing a cycle. And this winter card here, it does really seem to, there seems to be something about winter solstice, New Year, which would, I guess, make the 31st old year. So it's talking about the 31st, about that sensation of this is the last, and then this party and this celebration about something being truly over and ended. So the ending of some larger cycle in life, of some, and we have these cycles, we have these periods, we have the end of our childhood, we have the end of our children's childhood, we have the end of marriages, the end of certain periods of our lives. So this is talking about something that's already happened, that is already over. With Six of Water underneath it, I'm not sure it's over. And this is not talking, we release the past and release our past people. It's not worth it to carry that baggage forward. So this may have been baggage actually that you have already put down, that you have ceased to carry around with you. And then we have, see, this is why this deck, it just has these things. Hold on. Okay, I'm really glad I paused that there, even though you didn't notice a thing, did you? It's card number 6. It's the Lovers. And usually my interpretation of the Lovers is something that has called to us. And this is in our current situation, something that calls to us, something that we see, that we love, that awakens our soul and brings us to life. Are we going to move towards it? There's always some risk there. Are we going to move away from it? Because those risks are too great. And sometimes those risks are too great for us in that time period, in who we are in that moment. Sometimes they come back around and those risks and we're now able to take those risks. It may be in a different form. Maybe there was, an offer of love at some point, but you weren't able to accept that offer. It did make you come alive. You did feel wonderful about it, but you weren't in a space where you could take those risks. That love offer may come around from a different person, from a different situation, and you will have grown. You will have learned a lot. You have learned, this isn't how I want to run my life, is by doing safety. It's just playing it safe, or doing what's expected, or doing what's easy. I want to take these risks for things that I love and for things that I enjoy and bring me alive. So that is my normal interpretation of the Lover's card. Here we have the Lover's card mixed with our traditional Strength card, that lion, and making peace with something, making peace with the past, perhaps, maybe making peace with past decisions that we've made in love, this ending, and making peace with that ending. But I was instructed to read it here. In all of life, there's only the illusion of separation. In fact, we are all reflections of one another. When I make choices, I tend to see things as either or. What if every choice I make is about an experience, a sharing, and an exploring? When I choose to see the unity in all things, magic abounds. Love is all around me. Spirit loves me unconditionally, and I can give and receive abundant love. And I also want to talk about this love card with this white buffalo card, because in some interpretations of similar cards, similar concept, there is a sense of unity, the unity of humanity united in love for Earth, for each other. And so this is somehow sparking this in me. But this love and this union, and just what types of decisions you're ready. I guess it does really combine with what I was saying earlier, what types of decisions you're actually ready to make, and what types of decisions, what types of experiences you are ready to have. And in a way, making peace with the past, making peace with the strength of emotion. And we have these two lions here. What are they? Patience and fortitude. And just waiting perhaps for the right time, or to be ready to take an opportunity, to be ready to embrace something that in the past may have been very difficult for you to embrace, or you weren't in the place to embrace that thing, or appreciate even the opportunity, or appreciate. But there's just a lot of rest here in this. It's reminding me of, oh, look, we do have a white buffalo in this card. Look at that. And we got the white buffalo, and we got our winter white buffalo here too. That's kind of cool. I love that. But there is this like rest, this in a way beast at rest, this primitive, primal, historic self at rest here. There's an ending and there's some sort of rest, but there's an ability to make different decisions and to put something I just see rest here. I don't know. The other statements I've made about this card stand, but right now I just see rest. So your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, Page of Fire. Surprise, you're wanting to be inspired. You're wanting to be excited about something and inspired, have a magical, mystical experience. Again, we have a cat here, but this one's a tiger. To have your intuition, can you trust your intuition? And because it's a page, there's this childlike learning aspect to it. That is, there's a childlike learning aspect here to this. Perhaps you're thinking about a child, but this could be a creative project and just wanting to start something there, to feel really called. I think there's a sense of really wanting to feel called into something, into some sort of creative project, spiritual project, maybe even passion. You want passion. You're thinking about, maybe there's a new passion. You might want renewed passion in a way. But there's just this very magical, mystical, and I think you want to feel the calling to that and to feel excited about something. which, you know, being called out of this sleepy mode, being woken up by not a alarm, but like being awoken, your spirit being awoken by a passion, because there's just a lot of sleep ending, end of day, going, resting here. And I think maybe with this page of fire, it looks like you would like to begin anew something. And you want to feel called to it. You don't want to feel disturbed by it. You don't want to feel frustrated by it. You don't want to feel like you have to do it. You want to feel a natural awakening and calling to something. What's at issue here is 3 of air, which is really interesting because we have 3 of water and they bookend it. We have 3, 6, 9. Really strong numerology here. Really strong cards that way. So 3 of air in reverse. This is gorgeous. Heartbreak, that's healing. Healing from heartbreak, healing from wounding words, healing from wounding ideas and thoughts. Maybe ones other people have said to you, maybe ones you've internalized and said to yourself, but healing of those wounds. And that's what I'm seeing here, is like healing of some old wound with this love card and this resting in love and resting in the understanding of opportunities and of what opportunities are, and missed opportunities are not really missed opportunities. They're just opportunities we weren't ready for. And that can spark really a growth in us and a journey in us. That helps us realize, like, I did want that opportunity, I wasn't ready for it, and now I'm preparing for it. So there is like this healing of heartbreak is what's at issue, is maybe some healing process that's not as comfortable as you'd like, or not lingering healing process, but there is healing. And that's what's interesting, is what's at issue when these like swords cards come out reversed, and what's at issue, it can be really a delightful issue. This is a great issue to have. We're having a very good issue. And we've already touched so much on healing already here. And maybe it's something you haven't been able to talk about, or haven't talked about. And maybe it's somebody else's silence that you're healing from. Like, that can be very wounding as well. So 3 of air could be a wounding from words, from ideas, from concepts. But 3 of air in reverse could also be a wounding from silence. And we do have this silence card. So, and we have multiple cards about silence and rest. We have multiple cards about healing and completing something and ending something, and like healing from it, which seems to be a theme that's going through. So it makes me think that the things that our collective is healing from are long-held wounds. They're not new. They're not fresh. They're not easy to heal from. They're not simple. They have some complexity to it. And it could have to do with silence, ghosting silence, that kind of thing. In our environment, we have 6 of water, a return. Somebody may be returning. I hate to be that tarot reader, but that's what we got here. I mean, 6 of water, a return maybe to yourself though too, but this is external. So it really does seem like returning, perhaps returning home. This could be just what's going on physically in the environment. We have the internal, which is the page of fire, wanting to be inspired and excited about something or thinking about that. But the 6 of water is like, it's really interesting that it comes under this world, because this is like, this thing's over and done with. And the 6 of water here is this return. Like, so it looks like something feels over, but it's offering an opportunity to return. Either there's a return, you're returning home, hometown, home turf, or you're returning to something. It's physical. There's a return somewhere physical. Somebody's returning. It's going back to the beginning. Somebody's going back to the beginning. back to the history, back to someone's like literally coming back. That would be like the easiest, simplest understanding of this, is that this is coming back to something. A return is going on. Maybe with the sun here, maybe it is about solstice and the return of the sun, right? We have the world and 6 of water and the sun card and winter card, and there could be something around solstice that is a return to something. It's external to you. It's a renewal, a return. It's interesting because the numbers are so like, and then also like the Lover's card is number 6. We have 3, 3, 2 3s, 2 6s, and a 9. It's just, I don't know. So there could be something about dates here. And actually, we might actually be talking about a date here. So, all right, 9 of Earth is your to-do list. I think we got 9 of Earth last week too. A totally different deck. You've completed something. I think just be proud of yourself. You did something. You completed something. You chose maybe not the right thing. You chose the opportunity you were ready for. An opportunity was presented to you. You chose it, and you completed it successfully. You had the skill set to complete it. You had the tools, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a work project. There's this success here. 9 of Earth is succeeding, completing some part of the task, and you did it, and you got there. And whether this is like, I mean, it's really interesting, whether it's planning a party, whether it's completing the year out, having like met some kind of goal. There is like a goal achieved here, and that's 9 of Earth. Your to-do list is to achieve your goal, or if that sounds interesting, but achieve the goal, or when you do achieve the goal, be proud of yourself and take a moment to be excited about that and feel some pride about that. So 9 of Earth, this is achieving a goal. It's not the whole thing. So what's interesting is this World card in the mix is like a really big ending. And this 9 of Earth is like, it's a having achieved something, not the whole thing, right? Actually, I love it with this card too, because the 9 of Earth is one part of a bigger whole we have accomplished and we have achieved. So maybe an opportunity comes back around again that you thought that was over and done with, and from your perspective it was, but this a new opportunity, maybe with somebody else, maybe it is a job opportunity, or maybe it is like any of the many things. Maybe you just thought that wasn't going to happen, but it wasn't the right person, it wasn't the right opportunity, it wasn't the right situation. So with the 6 of water, it almost looks like the situation represents itself, only now different parts, different pieces, it's right now. And so now you have the potential to succeed at this part of this larger project, at this part of this bigger dream. You now have the opening, you now have the possibility of succeeding at this, where before your way was blocked. And that's even what we can see with the silence here. Maybe you were silenced, maybe you have been silenced. Maybe the silence is more a metaphor for something being blocked, an expression of who you are being blocked. And now that blockage is removed. We have the opening, it's open, and something can be successful where before it could not be successful. It just wasn't the right timing. We have timing here. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right people. It wasn't the right situation. But it's almost like this, there's another chance, or there's a return to something. And this time all the timing's right. The people are right. The situation is right for you to succeed. So you can succeed here. The doors opened where before maybe this expression was blocked, or this expression of part of who you are was blocked. But there is success here. It's available to you now. Possible outcome is really, really interesting, because we have this ending and then we have this beginning, the Fool card. The last card, the 21, the Fool, the 0. The first card in this spread, other than the underlying, the first card in the spread is the last card, and the last is the first. And obviously this is reminding me of the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Some sort of karmic justice. I don't mean that in the crude way that our culture has taken that, but some sort of karmic justice. It also is, as we were discussing, I believe last week, the pause, the exhale, the pause, the inhale. Just like with winter solstice, we have the shortest day of the year, 21st, I think. And then there's a pause, and it's not till the 25th where the light actually starts returning and our days actually get longer. There's this stasis that's entered, which we have here. The stasis that's entered, the silent period that's entered where there's no movement whatsoever. And then the light can start building. But we complete the cycle, we rest in the completion. We rest in the completion of this cycle. And then there's a new opportunity that comes from this. A whole new situation comes out of this. You are successful in this part, and then this creates maybe an opportunity, maybe an offer, maybe something, a new beginning. Like you're wanting this page of fire, a passionate new beginning. You're wanting to be called to something. You're wanting to feel called towards something or feel the pull of something that you're passionate about. Here's the Fool card. You're getting the call, right? She's got a trumpet there. Call to action, or Joseph Campbell's call to action happens. That's the possible outcome here, is that there's some sort of new opportunity, new adventure that unfolds. But there's some sort of review of the past, possible, or reorienting of the past, being successful in that because the time is right now. It's like a year-end review, and there is like that week between Christmas and New Year's, that is like all those year-end reviews come out, and all of the it's an opportunity for us in this aspect of our cycle, the Gregorian calendar aspect of the cycles that we're in. There's this pause, there's no school, there's no, a lot of people get the whole week off. There's just this pause before we start the new year and we start afresh. So there could be something annual going on here, but this is successful, and then we start the new year. We start afresh. We get a new calling. We get a new opportunity comes in. But there's something about an old opportunity and wrapping something up here and finishing something off before the new opportunity comes in. Okay, and then now, you guys, I just got this deck called Divine Feather Messenger, and I'm absolutely smitten by it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about it. But I'm still going to use the book because it's just a few days old here. It's so cool. It's these feathers. Talks about like different cultural significance of different feathers, and I always pick up feathers. I am not one to turn my nose at that secondhand clothes from birds. So to have this deck, it just really resonates with me, and so far I just absolutely love playing with it. But it doesn't. The cards are just gorgeous, easy to handle, and but it can be hard to get a card to spit out. So I'm playing around with different ways to organize that. Blackbird. Oh my gosh. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and fly. Anyway, the dead of night is what this is reminding me of. Blackbird singing. And I just can't believe we got a white buffalo in this card and that card. Anyway, dead of night. There's something really about some sort of night, some sort of silence. So that Beatles song, Blackbird. The magical and unique qualities of your untapped potential are unfolding now. So here's the feather that fluttered down, and then here's the thing. And then I'm actually going to read, because this has been really cool to read those. So, oh my gosh, though, it feels very magical. This blackbird feels... Well, it says magical. The magical and unique qualities of your untapped potential are unfolding now. And I think that's what this love or lovers card was talking about. Some sort of untapped opportunity that it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right people. It wasn't the right situation for you. But so now we have this untapped potential that now's the time. And magical and unique qualities of your untapped potential are unfolding now. And I feel like this has to do with this timing, divine timing. The blackbird has long been considered a bird of mystery with its unique folklore. This is a messenger who often communicates through his loud and magical song. Blackbirds with their dark plumes are associated with the unseen worlds and are thought to be the gateway, the gateway. It's so cool. To unseen reality. Blackbirds remind us that not everything is as it seems to the naked eye. Welcome mysteries and magic, that which is not in plain sight. Allow the song of Blackbird to invite you to move beyond your usual limits and find your hidden potential. The gifts that we find in the shadows are often the greatest inspirations. All we need to do is step forward and seek what is right there in the twilight. That sounds overly simplistic in my opinion of how that works, but allow yourself, I mean, not overly, there's a trick to it that makes it easier, but allow yourself to push past the ordinary boundaries and take the journey with the blackbird. As you do, be open to the new information and opportunities that await you. Mystery, hidden potential, spring, summer, fall. Oh, that's interesting. Everything but winter. Air and water, black and red. I embrace, the affirmation that we're closing with here is I embrace and open to the mystery and magic in life. So that's very beautiful. I embrace and open to the mystery and magic in life. And we'll talk again soon. Have a wonderful week, y'all. Bye.